Christine, you mentioned Bobby Babich and the defense and kind of starting to come into their own. Any areas of maybe like concern or areas you'd like to see them improve as we go down the stretch run and then into the playoffs?
I guess just health, because of last year we saw that like between the end of the regular season and then the Pittsburgh game, we lost a lot of guys to injury, and that really impacted what took part of what took place in the Kansas City loss. I think, and I remember earlier this year, I think it was the Baltimore game. There was a shot. It was TB, it was Matt Milano and Taron Johnson on the sideline, and I was like, "Oof, that's a lot, right? Like that's a lot to miss because those are three big difference makers." I think health would be a good thing. I do like the adjustments. I don't know. I know some people may be a little concerned about the run defense, but I like Bobby's adjustments that he makes, at halftime. I don't know how you guys feel about that. But I mean, I like everything. I got to give a shout out to the UB guys because I'm a SUNY girl. I graduated from Geneseo, as you guys mentioned. Cam Lewis and Ingram, like it's nice to see guys like that do well too, and like the next man up mentality. Also Dorian Williams, what he's done in year 2 has been something to see, and I'm really happy for that kid too.
Yeah, Dorian Williams has been awesome. I know there were a lot of concerns with him and how he could step
Mm-hmm.
in and fill the role of Matt
Mm-hmm.
Milano, which is not an easy role to
No.
fill, and he's been great. And you mentioned the UB guys. I don't know if anybody watched any Tuesday night Maction this week, but I think his last name is Zolak. That linebacker for UB had 2 picks and a pick 6 that hit the over. Like I texted my buddies, I was like, "That is a future Buffalo Bills training camp invitee right there."
Sure, for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned the run defense, and to me, that's kind of always been something that isn't a huge concern. Because eventually, there's going to be a holding call. We're going to stop the run. Like, we're going to slow it down. We're going to get them into passing situations, and that's where our defense really shines. And as long as you're not playing the Ravens, it's really hard to beat a team just running the ball, especially in today's NFL. So as long as they can kind of bend, not break there, that's always kind of been good enough for me. Ben or Lance, any other defensive thoughts?
Yeah, I think the Ravens definitely got off with that big run, right, where Derrick Henry kind of gave them the lead and then they never looked back. So that doesn't happen to Buffalo quite often. I mean, I think they typically can either stay with a team or are able to get ahead. And that's really the key to success. And their defense really plays well within that role and being able to keep a lead or, play with the lead. And they've done a great job this year of actually just keeping the team in the games or, not breaking, as Scott mentioned. So I really liked Cam Lewis definitely coming in. Taron Johnson for me is if not the best, one of the best players on this defense. He did get his positional recognition, but I think overall as a defender, he's just so versatile. He does so many things for this defense. Kind of allows the defense to function in the concepts and things that they like to do while staying in that nickel base. So I'm really impressed. And this coming week, next week against the Niners, may be the first time since week 5 that we see Matt Milano, Terrell Bernard, and Taron Johnson together. So, Christine, what is that how much excitement, I guess, does that garner from you to kind of see that maybe Matt Milano may return here in the next coming week or so?
I am so excited because we've missed him so much the past 2 seasons, and I just think he adds so much to that defense as well. And like the trio of guys, TB, TJ, and Matt. Like I just think that I don't know. I was talking to my mom earlier, and she's like, "Can you believe Matt Milano is going to be back maybe next week?" And I was like, I'm excited for it because our defense has been playing really well, and to add a player like Matt Milano, it can only elevate it.
Yeah, for me, I was going to say for the defense, you touched on the injuries a little bit, and that was one of my major concerns is can they all stay healthy? But if they stay healthy, that should help the run game. The run game that's been a struggle a little bit in few games. But the number one thing for me that I want to see this defense really put together for long stretches is the pass rush. That's something that you've seen go away at times. And especially the one thing that Bills fans say in the playoffs, you have to be able to get after the quarterback. So guys like Greg Rousseau, Von Miller, who's looked great since this whole season, really, but even especially after the suspension, he's looked great. Adrian Epinesa is starting to play better, but can they do it for that many weeks, right? Until the end of the playoffs. So for me, that's going to be the one thing. What do you think about then really the pass rush and how those guys have kind of come along as the season's gone on?
It's funny you say that about Vaughn, because I really noticed that, like, especially this past weekend against Cincinnati, Kansas City, to see him kind of really almost like the old Vaughn, right? Like vintage Vaughn. I know he's a little older, but like with like Greg Rousseau and all those guys, like I don't know, it was nice to see them in Pat's face, right? I know that it's left tackle. I think it's his left tackle that's been a weakness for Kansas City. So like Pat was running a lot, and then he threw those 2 picks, which I think was a big part of it. But if you can kind of speed things up for people, that can only result in good things for us, like another TB pick.